My boyfriend is dead. My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in a suitcase and we were playing. And like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
On a quiet morning in February 2020, police received a frantic 911 call from a 42-year-old woman named Sarah Boone. She claimed that a fun game of adult hide-and-seek with her boyfriend, Jorge Torres, had ended in a tragic accident. She said she zipped him inside a suitcase, fell asleep, and woke up to find him dead. To the first responding officers, it looked like a bizarre, heartbreaking mistake. A night of heavy drinking gone terribly wrong. But what Sarah didn't realize was that she had accidentally documented her own crime. And the most chilling piece of evidence wasn't hidden in the house. It was sitting right in her own pocket.
Been doing art, trying to take the stuff off the wall to make new art put up there, like having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night.
When police arrive on the scene, human behavior can tell us a lot about what really happened. Notice Sarah's body language here. She is pacing, hyperventilating, and constantly hiding her face. To an untrained eye, this looks like pure trauma. But criminal psychologists look for something else, genuine tears. And Sarah doesn't shed a single one. She immediately starts building a narrative to protect herself. Listen to how she frames the story to the officers.
It's 1 o'clock right now. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs, and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him, and I took him out, and I tried doing CPR, and then I called him.
She is carefully planting the seed that this was mutual, a consensual game. The officers, playing along to gather more information, politely ask her to come down to the station for a routine interview. Confident that her story is working, she agrees. Inside the interrogation room, the detectives are already suspicious. The injuries on Jorge's body don't match someone who simply suffocated in their sleep. There were bruises, signs of a struggle. The detectives begin a classic psychological technique. They let the suspect talk, allowing them to dig their own grave with lies.
So, this morning we went to his autopsy. We were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex. Yes. Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
Sarah paints a picture of a perfect, loving relationship. She claims the mood that night was light, funny, and entirely innocent. But while she is spinning this web of lies in the interrogation room, another detective is in the other room, going through her cell phone.
We had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine, and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
Criminals often forget that our phones are digital mirrors of our lives. When you delete a video, it isn't completely gone. And what the forensic team extracted from Sarah's phone was about to turn this tragic accident into a cold-blooded murder case. The detective walks back into the room. He doesn't yell. He doesn't accuse her. He simply places a screen in front of her. Watch the exact moment her demeanor completely shifts from a grieving girlfriend to a cornered suspect.
Yeah, Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No, that's-
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And
Fuck you.
That's you, your voice.
Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Yeah, that's when you choke me.
Sarah. I don't want to watch it, please.
She is paralyzed. The hide-and-seek lie has just been completely destroyed. What the detective played for her were 2 videos she recorded herself while Jorge was zipped inside that suitcase.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping in the different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
In her own chilling footage, Jorge is pleading for his life. He is desperately telling her he cannot breathe. And her response? A mocking laugh. She tells him, "That's what I feel like when you cheat on me. It wasn't a game. It was a calculated punishment."
You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Fuck you.
Sarah,
Stupid.
Sarah,
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously,
Yeah, that's when you choke me.
Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
She didn't fall asleep by accident. She went upstairs, went to bed, and left him there to die, perfectly aware of his suffering. Faced with her own undeniable footage, the facade crumbles. She tries to backpedal, claiming she didn't mean for it to go that far, but the evidence is absolute. Her own arrogance, the need to record her cruel joke, is exactly what sealed her fate.
Alright, do me a favor, stand up. I need you to turn around, face the wall. Put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Thanks.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Sarah Boone thought she could outsmart the police with a few fake tears and a story of a child's game. Instead, she handed them the ultimate confession. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think she ever planned on letting him out? Or was this a premeditated trap from the very beginning?